Good morning, FlossTube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Friday. It is the 5th of June, and I am back for Chart of the Day video number 44. Yeah, because I missed yesterday. Welcome. I hope everyone is well. Hope you've been getting some stitching done. I have to admit I have not stitched since Sunday. I think it was Sunday was the last day. The lack of air conditioning for 2 days. I can't stitch when my hands are sweaty. And then I was having some neck problems from stretching the cross stitch on Sunday. And then I made the mistake of putting a jigsaw puzzle app on my iPad, and I've been making jigsaw puzzles for the last 2 nights. So hopefully tonight I will stitch. The house is cool. We didn't have to replace the air conditioner, which is always a good thing. There was some wiring that was corroded, so that's taken care of, and it is cooling the house as well as it always has, which has not been great, but is better than nothing. I was just talking to Amy. I started the video this morning, and then Amy called in, and she and Emily were making fun of Dan and I because we didn't have any air conditioning, and Karma's a bitch. Theirs died yesterday, and they have to have a part ordered. So they're still without any air. And being in North Carolina, I imagine it's a little bit humid there and a lot hot. So I feel for them, but they shouldn't have laughed at Dan and I. They should not have. Question of the day from Wednesday was cheese. Do you like it? And what's your favorite? There were a couple I have never heard of. I wrote them down on a piece of paper. I don't remember what they are right now, but I want to check them out and give it a try if I can find them. We do have a cheese store here in Papillion, but I haven't been there yet, so I'll have to check them out and see what the heck they have. Anyway, lots of people like the cheese. Got lots of comments on that one, and very few said no, they didn't care for cheese. So I thought there'd be more non-cheese eaters out there. Apparently they don't watch my channel. So thank you anyway for responding to that. It was a lot of fun to read people's reactions to cheese. So today's chart of the day, we're jumping ahead to Halloween today. I know some of you do not like Halloween, and I'm sorry. You can probably tune out now. I like Halloween. I don't stitch a lot of it. I have several things started, but I do like Halloween. I used to like dressing up for Halloween. I used to like decorating for Halloween. Hasn't been a whole lot of time for decorating for Halloween lately. So I like Halloween. Always have, probably always will. I also like witches and ghost stories and vampires and one thing I really don't like, which is not necessarily a Halloween thing, but serial killers. I cannot watch a show about serial killers. I don't like to read about a serial killer. I have a thing about serial killers. But Halloween stuff, pretty much I can, even spiders, stitched spiders are okay. So, sorry for those of you who don't like it. I will do something different tomorrow. I promise. But today's chart of the day is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is one I picked up at Market called Halloween Night. Cute, huh? It has both a colored chart and then a larger black and white chart in it. It's a double-sided page. So that's helpful. The colored chart is a little bit on the small side for these old eyes, so I would need to use the larger chart, but I do like the option. Uses all DMC, just has some back stitching and regular cross stitching. Doesn't say anything about over one, and I didn't see anything. The one floss I didn't pull was espresso bean, so hang on. From Gentle Arts, I'm out, so we're just gonna do 33.71. It's close enough. So all DMC except for the espresso bean. Stitch count is 126 by 126, which makes it about a 9 by 9 on a 28 count. And these are your flosses. Pretty colors. Their recommendation is a light purple fabric, or a light sky blue, or a light yellow orange is what the designer has recommended. I have pulled a 28 count wood violet Jobelan, which I think would be really pretty. It looks about like, maybe not quite as dark as the purple in the picture. Got some really pretty colors. So that is wood violet. I have a piece, pre-cut piece of Angelic Lugana from Leslie at Under the Sea. It's kind of a purpley pink color. It's lighter than the wood violet. So there's the wood violet, which I would say is kind of a gray lavender. This is brighter. But I think the colors would all be fine on there. This is Melody from Hand Dyed by Stephanie, and it's kind of got oranges, yellows, purples, pinks. Very pretty fabric. And I think everything would be really good on that too. Wouldn't give you a spooky feel, but it would still give you that Halloween-y kind of feel. This is a 32 count linen, in case I didn't say. Rhiannon is also from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. Love this color. Love it, love it, love it. It is, depending on what part of it you see, it can either be mostly purples or it gets some of that orangey color in it. Any of it, the colors are going to look good on though. So, you know, you don't have to say, oh, I need some of the orange. The colors are going to look good on the purple part, and it will look good on the orangier part. So that would be kind of fun. And then I think this would look good also. It's a 32 count Twixt and Tween from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. And it's, again, depending on the part of the fabric, you can have it look like this, or it can get a little brighter and look more like that. But I think that would work good too. The orange tones are a little bit pinker than the orange tones in here, so I think it'd be fine. I don't think anything's going to blend in. That's a cool fabric for Halloween also. So, today's question, again, might be a little controversial. It has to do with Halloween, sort of. The question is, do you believe in ghosts, spirits, leftover energy, however you want to refer to it? I do. I've had experience with activity. And when Dan and I moved back from Wyoming, we lived. The job he took was with Metro Community College, and the college is in the north part of the city, and it used to be a military base way back, and they had the officers' quarters that the teachers could live in. And so we moved into one of the officers' quarters. They were these beautiful, beautiful, big old brick duplexes. It had both a servant's stair going up the back and long stairwell going up the front. It was 4 different levels if you counted the basement and the attic area that was actually, we were not allowed up there. It was where they used to hold dances and stuff when the officers would have gatherings. But we were not, it was always locked up and we were not allowed up there. So it was 3 floors where we lived. They had a butler's pantry. It had a really scary basement. It was really, the laundry was down there. It was scary down there. But there were several different things, and there's been stories for years about the activity out there at the fort. And there's been several stories that I've heard of. I think there's even a book about it, about the different activity. But I had a personal experience. Dan had experience, but he refuses to admit to it. He says there's got to be an explanation for what happened, and he doesn't believe it was anything paranormal, so to speak. There were several instances, like the one time I was watching North and the South, and I was downstairs. Dan was giving Abby a bath, I think. So he was upstairs in the bathroom, and I could hear him saying something to me. So I went to the bottom of the stairs and I yelled at, what do you want? And he said, how'd you get back downstairs? And I said, well, I've been down here. I'm watching the show. And he said, no, I heard you come up the stairs and walk down the hall to Adam's room. And I said, no, you didn't, because I'm down here and I've been down here. He said, no, I know I heard your steps coming up and you went down the hallway. Well, number one, I never went down that hallway because it gave me the creeps. You'd come up the stairs, turn, and go straight into my bedroom. And then you could go through, or our bedroom, you could go through our bedroom into a bathroom and then into Adam's room and totally skip going down the hallway to his bedroom door. And that's how I always went to his bedroom. I never went down that hall. So he still swears to this day that I snuck upstairs, but I didn't. I was still downstairs. Another time, Dan was gone. He was still teaching. I'd just gone to bed. I had just shut the light off. We had a water bed, and I felt someone sit down on the water bed. I quickly turned on the light, thinking, well, maybe Adam had gotten out of bed and come in, and I hadn't heard him. But there was no one there. But I do know that someone. Then I thought, okay, I had a cedar chest that sat at the end of the bed that Dan had made, and in our move, the one leg had broke off. So it was just propped up, and I thought, well, maybe that leg had fallen off and it had hit the bed and caused it to feel like someone sat on the bed, but that hadn't happened either. We didn't have any dogs at the time, so it wasn't a dog jumping up on the bed. So I don't know what that was either, but it was not normal. Adam's door to his bedroom, old house, so the lock was not on the knob. It was one of those sliding bolt type, that you slid over and then lock down. And it was on the inside of the room. And when Dan was going to be out of town, Melanie would come and stay out at the fort with me, because it was just not necessarily in the best part of town, and I didn't want to be there by myself. So she would come, and she would sleep in with Adam because he had bunk beds. He was probably 3 about this time. And she would, the hallway freaked her out too, so she would always make sure that door was shut and bolted before she went to bed. And she has this little teeny tiny bladder, has to get up every night to go to the bathroom. And she would wake up, go to the bathroom, and that damn door would be standing wide open. Now, the lock was further up the door, so Adam at the time was 3. He would not have been able to undo that. Dan was out of town, so he didn't do it. I didn't do it, but it happened every single night. That door would be shut and locked, and it would be open middle of the night. She would shut it again, lock it again. It would be open in the morning. Don't ask me how. At one point, Adam told her that if she happened to see Captain Hook, not to be afraid that he was nice and he wasn't going to hurt her. So we're pretty sure Captain Hook was probably the one opening up the door. Adam used to talk about Captain Hook all the time. He'd never seen, like, Peter Pan, so he had no reason to have anyone called Captain Hook in his life. But he would talk about Captain Hook watching over him at night and looking out, if we were outside, looking down at us on the yard. He'd look up at his bedroom window and he'd wave to Captain Hook. And I'd ask him who he was waving at, and he'd said, well, Captain Hook's up there watching us. And I look up, I didn't ever see anything. But Adam did. He talked about Captain Hook a lot. Other places, other houses had stories about them. One time my neighbor went away on vacation. She came back home and everything on her shelves was on the floor, placed neatly on the floor. Nothing was missing, nothing was broken, everything was just on the floor. Another time, she came back and the ceramic toilet there was a crack through the toilet that hadn't been there when she left. And again, everything was off her shelf. So if something happened to crack the toilet, you would think something would be falling off the shelf, not placed properly on the floor. So lots of different things. My mom believed in ghosts. She lived in a house that she said was haunted. So yeah, I kind of believe that. I do believe that. There was also the door. There was the door in the living room, and then you'd open those double doors, and then there'd be like a vestibule, and then another set of double doors that would open to the porch outside. And I used to close and lock both sets of those doors every night. And the inside set was always open in the morning. Dan didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't know how it got open, but every morning they would be unlocked and standing open. So it was just freaky things like that just kind of make a believer out of you. So my question is, do you believe in ghosts? And if you do, Have you had any experience with them? So that's what I know for today. I have someone coming in today who's going to help me out in the shop a little bit. So I need to get this done, and well, I may leave my mess for her to clean up just so she gets familiar with things. And go on about my day. I hope you have a good one. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend, and take care until next time. Bye.